public veto, news, and current affairs, INSS Institute for National Security Studies update seminar was held on November 2, 2011. Today, international organization trust the Israeli government leadership so that membership launch recorder organization UNESCO approves the diplomatic launch recorder favor of economic prosperity, social and political Israel-Palestine conflict. Saranga member Amir MBA Business Administration cooperation between INSS Tel Aviv University and IDC-HU does not exist today. Regulations joint studies of research from both institutes will deepen the knowledge sharing and make Israeli scholars to be more effective in making decisions. Event can apply sanctions, need government funding to implement this program more criticals from other educational institutions recognized by the Council for Higher Education. Arms control in changing Middle East. Given a country is developing a civil nuclear industry, military figure B. Failure of military munition base, a reason 1. Achieving military superiority in front of her neighbors, reason 1. Unknown, launch recorder, case A2. Protecting actions after oil supplies in reason 2. There is no registration, geopolitical fault, a result, launch recorder 1. There will consider tenders, protection, buy oil suppliers. Result 1. Defense tenders are to remain a priority by the oil suppliers. Result A2. Do efforts by existing conservation protection providers result into the state developers. The nuclear industry will try to accelerate the program. In case of a failure of a military wounded conflict, if possible, will be treated and diagnosed by the physicians, Red Cross. In test will diagnosed by an expert tenthly and notifiable. Transfer of investments by the Bank of Israel and its core is an investment bank for capital investment in the U.S. Will the U.S. Central Bank Federal Reserve will be used to finance Iran attack plan approved last IPEC conference. IAEA inspectors visited the nuclear facilities in Iran in order by Iran to test the safety of radiation for human capital in the activity launch recorder in its facilities to prevent comorbidities that can result as a result of leakage using Geiger counter specifying launch recorder location on map coordinators internal mobile launch recorder phone to launch recorder the mobile application installed launch recorder in the cellular space launch recorder of the presence of uranium. Future attack nuclear facilities as described in the article Cloud Computing Section 3 positions. Coordinators pitching no harm in the presence of uranium in order not to pollute the earth and the Persian Gulf water. Iran support organization Hezbollah political Islamic launch recorder Shia militia in Lebanon, which strengthens the uprising launch recorder against the Syrian Arab Republic, is designed to appeal Syrian oil export rival Iranian oil. Must be purchased from the Russian government outlines plans for construction performed for the Iranian nuclear industry launch recorder to make explosive attack launch recorder targeted effective method of returning to her parents. Final nuclear ground and sub-ground Operation Launch Recorder Palmachim Beach Rishon LeZion Rishon Southern Short adjusted launch recorder to the northern fence of Palmachim Air Force Base car parking garage South Shore Bottom. A group of 5 minority men in their 20s, Arabic-speaking territories doubt they are civilian. Launch recorder standing around an old car parking in the center of the parking lot with a raised hood prevent burning when trying to locate a fault on the front of the vehicle in the dark with flashlights and look violent. Launch recorder Margarita and I leave the car and go for a romantic walk, lily sand, towards the water. As we both know, we came here following the newspapers about launching a ballistic missiles manufactured by Jericho on November 3 in the morning base Palmachim and harassment after yacht of non-resident Europeans launch recorder, especially the French, at the 4 to the 6th of November, tried to do its innocence and dock area Palmachim base and arrested by the Navy in a timely manner before the invasion and infiltration. November 6, 2011. Jonathan Pollard espionage conviction following a stranger passing several interrogation techniques. Check Rishon business economics and small wars, intellectual property law and development. Mechanical characterism composed of prototype built according to customer, regardless and mass production-wise, using components for the production of regular maintenance of facilities requires small wars. The customer buy license small wars right to copy from the vendor in order to protect intellectual property and the immunity to be client itself. It should be remembered that certain sensitive components have no cash value and cannot be purchased. License rights to for them. Financial scholarship by diaspora, Jew, Israeli residents for letters, photo, diaries, document, small world, the family history, past recipients, used museums, small war exhibits, donor change admission to visitors. Running an engineer from the nuclear industry developed for hostile country, signed a peace treaty with it in order to develop its own nuclear industry, can believe that this agreement application, especially their army supplies by the U.S. Army, led misjudgment of the request state, but the actual development of engineering plans were wrong and the step back develop progress. Development once IP intellectual property is an Israeli company that sold the board to raise money from the chief scientist, preferring natural treatment from the OCS, can pass through the Israel Export Institute to close the company and its royalties of the chief scientist, and the exporting company brokered an Israeli Export Institute where mediation alternatives in private financing, branding, reputable, larger end of the process, and the same ROI finance expenses, however, private lawyers higher. Mechanical characteristics of components prototypes were built according to customer requirements by the US and the Europe, regardless production and mass production, while using components for the production of the regular maintenance of facilities required the customer's small war to buy license right to copy from them the vendor in order to protect intellectual property and the client's immunity itself, small wars, and the suppliers, and therefore required the customer without prototypes easily the editor should be remembered that sensitive components that they have no monetary value and cannot be purchased. Therefore, license right, etc. nuclear reactors defense industry, but the enterprise committed to meet the standards of information security easily auditor maintaining engineer drawing of supplier and contractor supplier to the customer. Tom's convictions, a lecturer for 4 years in prisons for espionage and treasure in Israeli changes only espionage in Israeli since the amount of information was overwhelming. Small wars in scope soldiers come enabled and facilitated by the IDF intelligence branch Department of Deception in particular without her knowledge to steal classified documents and information stated false and transfer release. Small was stated favor in making civil fraud in favor of the undercover intelligence operation against the Israeli officials. Modi'in note. Jonathan Pollard espionage conviction following a stranger passing several integration techniques modified and classified by the mechanism of intelligence system that foreign country these methods are intellectual properties was invented. Small to intelligence research psychology of intelligence system in foreign country. The prisoner's survival in instinct fed these interrogation methods since there is no other stimuli to the human brain and as a accustomed conscious and the unconscious mind of the prisoner dinner and detention interrogation method actually become the main motivation for continuing life in the subconscious of the prisoner. This makes the spy jail best expert intelligence research of the host country and return to the state whether or release may be lead to public methods and materials classified in the study of the mechanism of a foreign state intelligence. Consequences stated and are the fall secrets, intelligence research and damage laws of intellectual science cannot estimate the value of financial capital to the country where he is imprisoned. The massive publicity press conference IDC categories attack in Iran held after dinner, small war and banquet, Israeli Chief Staff General Chief of the U.S. and their wives at the Lareil's Jaffa under heavy security causes extensive security narratives in the Israeli chief of the staff whose expressions could be read in newspapers articles and digital review the event in the parallel. In this is a mistake, serious intelligence inspired narrative and lack of confidence and support among the public and in the public as unconscious of the public reasons of confidentially has the effect of coupling characteristic of negligence and military weakness.